ZMT Sports back. Week 1 of the NFL concluded. We're on to week 2. Officially been 1 year since we've been together. Tom, I love you. Come kiss me. Officially 1 year.
I can't believe it's been a year.
Been a whole freaking year that we've been doing this. Some people like it, some people don't. We love it. It's all that matters.
Happy belated birthday, Milk Money.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Of course, the Cowboys
birthday
ruined
podcast this week.
Yeah, it is. Of course, Cowboys ruined
it.
Both
of our teams are 1-0. I mean, 0-1. Oh my god, I wish they were 1-0.
Tom swore they were going to be 1-0 last week, and
I did. Every team in this area is 0-1 except the Eagles, which I know makes you so happy. But we don't talk about the Eagles because fuck them. But yeah,
absolutely.
We'll follow the same format like we always do, and we'll be throwing in a surprise segment in the first segment that we'll talk about later. But I'm ready
Tom's
to get it
idea.
rolling if
Tom's
you
idea.
are.
I am ready to get rolling. It is week 2 NFL ZMT Sports Analysis. We will be back.
What is up, everybody? ZMT Sports back. Ready for segment number 1. Week 2. Local landscape. That's not annoying.
I know.
No, you're good. Mess with you.
Whatever. Sorry.
Just like last week, I think I'm going to let you take the floor because I think out of all the teams, your team is the one with the most realistic shot and probably had the worst loss emotionally, not like actual production wise, but emotionally.
Nothing I haven't seen. Nothing I haven't
Before
seen.
You start, though, I got to give you credit. You nailed it right on the head.
I told you, Tom Brady was.
And I was about 50 seconds away from being 100% right.
You were. I went from. It was not a roughing the passer, but it was a call that helped Tom Brady win the game. But that is not the point. Tom, just like you have jet takes, I'm going to have milk takes. I'm going to do my 3 takeaways from this Dallas Cowboys game. I'm going to make it quick. I'm going to roll it by. Starting with number 1. Tom, can you guess it? You're pretty good at this. What is number 1, my biggest takeaway coming out of this game on Thursday?
Cowboys defense is trash.
That is one of them, but that was not my number 1. That is not my number 1. That was not my number 1. What is the second thing that comes to your head? Dude, are you fucking kidding me, Tom?
The refs.
No. It's a positive. It's actually.
Oh, it's Dak Prescott.
It is Dakota Prescott. Dak Prescott. He is worth every single penny. That is my first takeaway out of this game. He threw for 400 yards. 10 yards, per average. He had 3 touchdowns. He had 1 interception. That wasn't even his fault. It was a good ball. CeeDee Lamb's gonna, hold on to that. Dude, crazy stat that I, saw about Dak Prescott. He analyzed the field so well, being away for 11 months, right? There was 28 run calls, made by Kellen Moore. He literally audibled out of 12 of them to make a positive play. So 11 months off the field, Dak Prescott's doing this against the reigning Super Bowl champions, a defense. They returned all their starters, beg to differ. They had some injuries occur during the game. It is what it is, hoping them health. But Dak is worth every penny. I think he's proven it, for a guy that went through all the adversity that he's gone through over the last year. And the fact that he played that well and almost won him a game against the Super Bowl reigning champions. He's worth every penny. Number 2, I'm wearing his jersey. I am supporting him. People who are mad at Zeke are fantasy owners and jerk-offs, and they don't watch football. Zeke's production is nothing to be worried about. That is one of my takeaways out of this. He was a pass blocker on Thursday, and he did a phenomenal job. Probably labeled himself as one of the best pass blocking running backs in the league. He had 4 carries in the first half, 11 carries total. It sucks. He only had 33 yards if you're a fantasy owner of him, but that was not the game plan. The game plan was to let Dak air it out because that run defense on the Buccaneers is probably the best in the league, one of the best defense in the league without a doubt. So he did his job. And another thing I was telling you, if it was like Odell Beckham, sorry to bring up Odell Beckham, but if it was Odell Beckham and there was a camera angle to the sideline, Odell Beckham probably be pissed, throw me the ball, blah, blah. Zeke stood there. He did his job. He did everything that he needed to do to try to help the Cowboys win that game. So that's number 2. Zeke's production is nothing to be worried about. 3rd, you nailed it on the head, Tom. Defense has seen no improvement. There's no improvement. But turnovers is big, and it's what kept them in that game. Trayvon Diggs, he's definitely the number one cornerback on that team. He locked down Mike Evans like no tomorrow. He was on him 70% of the snaps, and he only allowed 1 reception against him. That is incredible. And then yeah, besides that, I mean, they had random guys on that defense that don't even know the names too. They were causing turnovers. He kept them in that game. You know, that it is what it is. That is the point that they have to do. Probably more turnovers in that game on Thursday that I've seen the entire season last year. So, I mean, that is a positive, but still, you're right. They let up almost 400 passing yards against a 40-year-old. And it is just 45-year-old. Yeah. So that's the thing. I'll get into it when we talk about the Chargers game. Yeah, that's something to it's something to be worried about. If I had to add a bonus, Greg Zuerlein, Anthony Brown, you guys suck. You need to get it the fuck together. If Greg Zuerlein does his job, the Cowboys win that game. They had to force Tom Brady to get a touchdown instead of a field goal to win that game. I'm not saying he wouldn't have done it, but it makes a big fucking difference. And Anthony Brown, dude, oh my goodness gracious.
Toasted.
10 times targeted, 9 receptions, 130 yards, and a touchdown let up, and 3 missed tackles, Tom, in that game. You want to talk about being the worst D-back in the league? Man, he deserved it. So that is my 3 takeaways from the Dallas Cowboys game on Thursday. A lot of things to be optimistic about, but a lot of things to be worried about. We will talk about that, but I will let you take the floor about your Jets and what you saw this week against the Carolina Panthers.
Okay. My 3 takeaways from my JETS Jets.
You are optimistic.
The first half of the game, I was not optimistic at all. I thought it was the same old shit. It was like I was watching Adam Gase, but then the second half came and it was a completely different team. So my number 1 takeaway from the Jets game against Carolina on Sunday was coaching. They adjusted at halftime. It's the first time I've seen the Jets coaching staff adjust at halftime and actually play a better second half than first half since 2018, probably with Todd Bowles. Sure. Literally. Adam Gase and his staff never made adjustments at halftime, and the Jets always got outscored in the second half. I'm pretty sure they did not. They only won 3 or 4 second halves in Adam Gase's tenure, which is a joke. It's that bad. I don't know the exact number. I was trying to find it today, but just me doing the math, there was only 1 half of football being the second half that they won, that they scored more points than the opposing team under Adam Gase. Absolutely a joke. And they won 9 games with Adam Gase. So when you really think about it, there was not even a game that they were down, and then they tried to make a comeback. They were just blown out. So when the Jets were down 16-0 at halftime, I went in. I'm like, this is going to be a rout because that's what I've been used to seeing the last 2 years. But they didn't. They made it a game. They outscored the Panthers 16-3. So I give kudos to the coaching, and it makes me optimistic for this week against the Patriots because they made adjustments. Number 2, offensive line. All last week in our podcast, that's what I said. Why I thought the Jets were going to win, because their D-line.
Yep.
And their offensive line. Their offensive line was literally rated the worst in football last weekend.
They showed it.
Zach Wilson was the most pressured quarterback in the NFL. All the excuses that I needed to make for Sam Darnold and why I didn't think he was good, Zach Wilson had to deal with in week 1. And mostly the first half. The second half, the Jets improved, but that's how bad their numbers were in the first half, that they were still ranked worse, even though they outscored the Panthers 16-3, and Zach Wilson finished with like 237 yards and 2 touchdowns, or 287, or something along those lines, where he completed like the last 75% of his passes, threw for over 200 yards, 2 touchdowns in the second half. Like, you can't ask for any more of the dude, given the circumstances on how bad that offensive line was. But losing Becton's out 6 to 8 weeks. They finally slot in Moses. They got George Fant at left tackle, who I think he's better at left than right. They have some depth, which is good. And I'm hoping this week they show improvement. But that was my second takeaway of how bad the offensive line was, because that was supposed to be a strength.
Hit it on the money, dude. You hit it on the money.
Yeah, that you could say that's the reason why they lost, was because how bad their offensive line was. They only lost by 5 points, and they were down 16-0 at halftime, and mostly because they could not move the ball in offense because their offensive line. My third takeaway is defense. Their defense might not be as bad as everyone was projecting it to be, including myself, like just listening to the media heads and the talking heads and reading articles and things like that. Everybody said the Jets defense would probably be bottom 10, bottom 5, one of the worst defenses in the league, but they have 2 or 3 players that graded out. And I know people don't really like PFF and Pro Football Focus and their grades and stuff, but they had 3 defensive backs grade in the top 20 of all defensive backs in the league. They shut down the deep attack for for the Panthers, and it was a lot of check downs. And when they checked it down, they made a lot of nice open field tackles against Christian McCaffrey, who's probably one of the toughest guys to tackle in all of the NFL. So I think the defense will be better than people expect. And I think that also can go back to my first takeaway in coaching, and that Robert Saleh, defensive coach, has always made the best of what he's gotten. And I can see that they play hard. They're scrappy. They're young. And guys like CJ Mosley coming back from injury looked great, played 94% of the snaps. Quinnen Williams was a pressure dog. John Franklin Myers, who they got from the Rams a couple years ago, was getting pressure on the quarterback. They were up there top 10 in pressure ranks of all NFL teams. So I think that if they can just build on the second half going forward, they're going to win a couple football games in these next couple of weeks. I don't know how many, 1, 2, 3, who knows, because they have some favorable matchups. But if they look like the first half at any point in any of the next games going forward, they'll be 0-5, 0-6 before I blink. So that's just my 3 takeaways for the Jets: was coaching, adjustments, offensive line being bad needs to improve, and the defense might not be as bad as it was. So
I love it. I mean, we went over, this past week's game. Should we go over the Giants game?
Let's give one take each about the Giants, because I'm going to be a little asshole here, and I'm going to say that I nailed that shit right on the head.
Yes, you did.
I knew that was going to happen. I knew it.
Did. And they made me
actually,
They made me look like an asshole. They made you look like a genius. Let me tell you. I mean, what is your main takeaway out of the Giants game against the Broncos this past weekend?
This defense better get in check tonight. I mean, for people, I'm hoping this episode will be up by tonight and people listen by tonight. But if you listen before this game happens against the football team, the defense better show up. The defense was the issue was the surprising thing. We knew what their offense is. We don't know, like, it's going to show up one day. It's not going to show up. Denver's got a good defense. The offensive line's always been an issue, but the defense is what scared me. All those third down conversions they gave up, the 4th and 2s, like the Broncos were being aggressive. Like if the defense just played like the Giants defense last year, they would have controlled that game, because the Broncos were going for it in their own territory on 4th down, like the second quarter, and they were just converting and driving. And Teddy Bridgewater, the Giants defense, probably the top, I think it was a top 5 defense last year, made Teddy Bridgewater look like Peyton Manning. It was like Peyton Manning took over Teddy Bridgewater's body and then I add the movement in Denver. That's what it felt like. But that was my takeaway, that the defense needs to pick it together. The defense needs to go in Washington and win a football game for the Giants and get them back on track. Yeah, for sure. Take the extra time and figure everything else out. Yeah, that'd probably be my biggest takeaway. That'd be my biggest takeaway. You basically nailed it on the head. I was going to say overrated. That's basically my. I mean, that's just me being a dick. I guess it's just me being a Cowboys fan. But I think any fan, even Giant fans who watched that game on Sunday, your biggest strength was that defense that you overloaded in the offseason, that you brought back everybody from last year. That was a top 5 defense last year, and you made Teddy Bridgewater look. I'm not bashing Teddy Bridgewater. Obviously, I know he's got talent and everything. He is what he is. He was more of a game manager in the past, and he was, an impact player. And on Sunday, he looked like the real deal. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not taking anything away from Teddy Bridgewater. I think he's a fantastic player. But that Giants defense against a guy that is known to being a game manager, that's known to not being that good, and letting up big plays, and it was just shocking to me, because we know what the offense is. Like you said, I knew Daniel Jones was going to fumble when he had his 12-yard rush on Sunday. Like and that offensive line is just brutal. It is just brutal. Jason Garrett's play calling is brutal. God bless. God bless that the Cowboys got rid of him and the Giants have him. But like you said, tonight they got to pick it up. Like I said last week, it was a must-win game for them. Last week, today is a must-win, because Washington's got issues right now. Taylor Heineke is their quarterback and everything like that. Their defense is still legit, though. Probably better than Denver's, in my opinion. Yeah. And so Jason Garrett better have gotten it together on a short week. Exactly. Give me since we can't really talk about the Giants like we normally do and give like a whole thing, because the game's tonight, people might not listen. For sure. We could talk about it next week, but give me give me a score prediction for tonight real quick. Giants win, Giants lose, and then we'll go on to our teams. I mean, honestly, off of Sunday's performance and how off gelled this team is, I'm going to go with Washington. Tonight, besides them losing against the Chargers on Sunday, Washington showed promise, especially with all the adversity they faced. Against a really good team in Charger, and they're a better coach. Exactly. If I'm going to predict a score in my head, I would say like 13-10 last second field goal or something like that. And this could be a very low scoring game, like hammer the under in this game. Tell me you have 13. That is incredible. I said 13-10, 17-13, but Milk Dud, I'm sorry, I don't agree with you. I think the Giants win. I think
the Giants win?
I think the defense shows up today, and I think that Heineke makes a big mistake or two that puts the Giants in such favorable scoring position that they don't need to drive 70, 80 yards against Washington's defense. Then Taylor Heineke likes to run. Maybe he fumbles. Maybe throws an interception inside the 30, tries to make a play on third down. And the Giants set up inside, Washington territory. They punch the ball a couple times, 30, 25, 30, 40 yards that they have to go down the field. They score a touchdown here or there, maybe a defensive touchdown.
I think you can go either. I think you can go either way.
It's going to be a snooze fest.
Yeah.
The only way you are going to enjoy this game tonight, if you're a mutual fan, is if you like defense or if you bet something that's like favorable,
sloppy football,
or if you're a fan of the Ravens, team, it's the only way you like it.
Like the Ravens-Raiders game on Monday night. I mean,
it was a snooze fest.
Until the end, the first half. Until exactly. I think definitely see this game.
Was crazy.
I could definitely see this game turning into that. I don't know if you want to go first. When we go first, what is your takeaways or expectations for this Week 2 game for the Jets against the Patriots?
I'll go first, and you'll probably call me out based on me flip-flopping already because I think I texted the group chat this morning or in the Twitter chat today that I'm like, they're gonna win this week. I have a feeling, but when I started like writing things down, I started looking up things. I'm like, all right, what are the matchups looking like? I listened to Bill Belichick talk about the team coming in. Rookie quarterbacks are 4-16 against Bill Belichick. I think in the last like 10 years.
Incredible stat.
They're 0-12 on the road, but they're 4-4 at home. That gives me some promise, but I think I'm going to pull a Mikey D Week 1 card, and I'm going to say
optimism.
The Wicked Wango card. I'm going to go milk money conservative for the Jets this week, and I'm going to say just show me something, but you're going to lose because it's Bill Belichick, Mac Jones. Everybody's talking about Mac Jones. I saw all these Twitter articles like right after the Patriots lost to the Dolphins, Mac Jones started studying Jets playbook. No fucking shit, bro. That's what you're supposed to do. That's your job. Like, why are we making it glorified because it's Mac Jones and the Patriots? Like, I hope next week I can come in here and say, fuck Mac Jones, Zach Wilson's better, and like the Patriots aren't just going to always be the Patriots because of what Brady did and Belichick did all those years. It's different people. It's a different situation. There's better teams in the division. It probably goes Bills, Dolphins, Patriots, Jets right now, if I think that's what it's going to be. But the Jets and Patriots aren't that far off, except maybe the front seven or the front four, the Patriots, and one corner in Stephon Gilmore, who is not even playing this week and is out until week 7. So the teams aren't that much different. You can argue the Jets have a better receiving core. Okay, Jacoby Myers and Nelson Aguilar or Corey Davis, Elijah Moore, Jamison Crowder. Like, you can argue the Jets have better weapons on the outside for their quarterback. The only thing the Patriots have better, obviously I already mentioned, is that front seven is disgusting. Judon and Hightower back and Van Noy and all them. They're gonna get after the quarterback, especially if the Jets offensive line doesn't pick it up. But they're not far off, so I think it's going to be a lot closer.
I think the spread is disrespectful.
It's very disrespectful, and that's why, like, I want to just sit here and say we're going to win. I want to say it, but because of what happened to me last week and how bad they started, and it's still a rookie head coach, it's still a rookie quarterback, they have a lot of issues right now on the offensive line, which is where you win football games. If the offensive line looked great last week, I would have been like, we're winning this game. If we would have lost the game for other reasons, let's say the defense led a game-winning drive or something like that, I would have said we're going to win this game. They're going to correct itself. But because the biggest issue for the Jets is that offensive line, and the biggest strength of the Patriots on that defense is that front seven and Bill Belichick blitzing and scheming up things, no thank you. I'm going to say the Jets are going to lose probably 20-14 or 27-17, something along those lines. But I'll keep my actual real score prediction to the end because I have a surprise for you.
Oh,
from our bet segment. But those are my take the takeaways I said before: coaching adjustments, offensive line, and defense not being that bad. If the second one corrects itself, I think the Jets have a legit shot in this game. But I still think they'll lose a close one. It'll be interesting. Fourth quarter, a drive here or there. There's going to be one or two plays like you did for last week against the Buccaneers where I'll look back and be like, that's where they lost.
Exactly.
This went that way. They won. That's what's going to happen. So, yeah, I hope Mac Jones doesn't keep getting the calls that he was getting last week. I mean, he gets touchdown. They call roughing the passer already. He played 3 minutes. He barely got touched, and they call the roughing the passer. Zach Wilson had whiplash,
brutal.
and was getting fucking killed by the Panthers, and they didn't call one penalty.
The way it works. The way it works.
But give me your takeaways for this scary matchup in LA against the Chargers.
All right, so there's a thing called optimism and everything like that. You know, I want to be optimistic because there was a lot of good things I saw from the Cowboys, but the one thing that's always going to hold the Cowboys back is that defense. And there's just a lot of key missing players going into this game. You know, we lost Michael Gallup. We lost DeMarcus Lawrence. We lost Randy Gregory. We lost Collins. We lost Donovan Wilson. And it goes on and on. We literally got Dak back, but we sold a soul and a U-Haul to get him back.
You don't have the injury bug. You got the COVID injury bug. It's like
it's
taking
bad.
The
so most of the injuries I just listed. I mean, Leonard Collins is big, you know, because for the rushing game for Zeke, and then Michael Gallup's a great third receiver. But the offense, I'm not worried about. I'm thinking Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Zeke. Dak, they're going to do this thing. It's going to be a shootout again, in my opinion. I think this was going to go. It's going to go either way. That's why I'm not predicting the Cowboys are going to win or the Chargers are going to win. But I think the Cowboys have more to lose, obviously, because if they start off 0-2, it's not looking good. So, but, you know, this Chargers team against a really good defense, right, in Washington, they had the least amount of pressure allowed. I think that was really impressive. Rashawn Slater is insane.
Yeah,
he had 0 sacks, 0 pressures against Chase Young. I think it was, which is just absurd. So if they were doing that against a D front and a defense that's 10 times better than the Cowboys are, it's going to be a long day for that Dallas defense. So I just want to throw the stat out here. I'll let you determine if the Cowboys are going to win this game or not.
You do it. See, at least last week you gave me a prediction. You predicted the Cowboys were going to lose. You're not even going to give me one this week?
I'll give you a prediction, but let me just tell you the stat first, and then let me just off your facial expression. I will make my decision. The Dallas Cowboys have not had a game where they scored less than 30 points and they won it since 2018. So in 3 years, the Cowboys had to score 30 plus points to win a game. All right. Which is possible for them in this offense, right? Which I'm not worried about. 30 exactly. 30 points, possible.
You put up almost 30 points against one of the best defenses in the league.
But how many times have you seen the Cowboys put up 30 plus points and lose games over the last 3 years because of this defense?
Too many.
So my prediction, I mean, I said about the Giants last week and they lost, so I'm hoping this doesn't happen here. The Cowboys have a lot more to lose in this game. And I think that, you know, Dak is going to show up. I think he's going to keep on his MVP candidate, you know, season. I think the Cowboys win this game in a shootout. And I think it's going to be, my prediction, honestly, I'm going to say like 37-30 or something like that. It's going to be a shootout. Take the over in this game. Justin Herbert's a freak. Ian Allen's a freak. Mike Williams a freak. They will score points on this Dallas defense, but the Cowboys offense, just like they did last year to win games, very minimal of them. They will have to do that to win this Sunday. So I'm going to pick the Cowboys to win this game.
I'm with you. I'm going again with the Cowboys to win, although I think it's not going to be as high scoring as you think it's going to be.
Really?
I think with the injuries, I think Mike McCarthy's really going to try to get Zeke involved in this game more than he did. I don't think he's going to drop back Dak 60 times.
Oh, no.
It's not going to happen, no. Which means there will be more possession control for the Cowboys, as in they might be able to sustain a 6-7 minute drive if they can run it. Like if they can get Zeke 20, 25, 30 carries this game, they'll be able to keep Justin Herbert off the field, and then they'll be able to do it. The problem was against Tampa Bay, they could not run it. So that's why it turned into a shootout. Against the Chargers, you will be able to run the football. So now I think Mike McCarthy will try to take a little less pressure off of Dak Prescott, set up more play action, set up more bigger throws, easier throws, where he could just drop back like, bang, I got this guy open. Let me do it. Let me do this. And really let Zeke eat this game because Zeke did so well last game protecting his quarterback. Let's reward him and let's control this fucking clock. Let's win this game. So I could see it going that way. I could see it being like a 24-20 game where like there's a lot of good drives, but because both teams can run the ball and both teams will try to control the clock, especially, you know, Dallas having having to throw the ball so much last week. I think it could be a little tamed down. I don't know if it'll be that.
I'm just
37-30
predicting
game,
in my head because of all
what
the
every other Cowboy
losses.
game has been like.
Well, exactly. But like, if you want to just make an example out of it, like I'm looking at the Browns game from last year or the Seattle game from last year, where they had a slow start on defense and they just had like offensive drives here and there that were stopped by little miscues on the offensive side, which I think they will fix this year. But they had to make it a shootout in order to compete in this game. And I think that's what the Cowboys need to do. I think that's what's going to happen. I think they'll have like a 3-and-out or something to start the game. The Cowboys defense will let up a big, they'll be 14-0, let up big plays, and then Dak and the Cowboys will have to, bring them back. I think that's what I just see in this game because I've seen it so often. I hope you're right. I love your game plan better than mine, but with the way this team is and all these defensive losses, I feel like that's the way it's going to go. That is our
cool. Before we go into our little new segment that I'll explain in 1 second. You told me that it would be close, but what do you think is going to happen in the Jet game? I told you I think the Cowboys.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Just give me the score. Just give me what do you think's going to happen.
All right, well, just quick statement, just to let it go. Like I said, I think that spread is disrespectful. You know how high I am on the Patriots and Mac Jones, but I think this game comes down to like a last second possession and drive again. But the Jets are going to be on the wrong side of it. If I'm going to have to pick, I'm going to go I'm going to say 17-15. I'm going to go crazy. I'm going to go
15. How the hell the Jets getting the 15? Going for 2 somewhere?
They're not scoring this game. They're kicking all field goals. 7-15.
Oh my God.
No, I'm just kidding. I'll say like 17-14. I think game-winning drive for Mac Jones in his young career against the Jets. I have to go with that way.
It would be so Bill Belichick against the Jets. He hates the Jets. So
yeah.
I just hope Zach Wilson doesn't see ghosts this game. Anyway.
Yeah. Zach Wilson will throw to Corey Davis all game. All game.
I hope so.
All game.
All right. So yeah. So me and Milk Money, Cash Money had a good idea talking about it before. And we're thinking about ending. Well, we're gonna switch it. We're gonna switch it up weekly. We could add people into this. We can call people in. Like, we could do different things. We could change up the type of game. But I think we should always end this segment with like a 2-3 minute quick little what college did this player go to, or a trivia question, or something funny that we can post on Twitter or Snapchat or TikTok, where it's like, all right, Mike, I'm giving you 3 players, name their colleges and see what happens.
I'm so bad at this shit.
I wrote down like 10 players. I'm going to choose 3 of them at random for you. Well, yeah, because I didn't know maybe.
I got 3 players for it.
All right, so you ask yours first because I had the variety. So
I go from easy to hard.
If all right, cool. If we for some reason have the same player, at least I have backups. You don't. So hit me.
You're always more prepared than I am.
In ZMT's first ever.
Name that college. Name that college. Nice and easy for you. First one I got. I did a player generator. I put all the players. The thing I generated to give me 3 players. Kind of cool.
That's cool.
First player, that easy. Myles Garrett. Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah, you tell me. I know this and you don't.
Dude, I'm having a mind blank right now. Myles Garrett. It's embarrassing.
First overall pick.
I know. It's embarrassing though.
You know what it is. Come on. We need Kyle Maher on the show. He would get this right every 2 seconds.
But why am I'm getting like Jadavian Clowney, South Carolina stuck in my head. I don't know why I can't get Texas.
I put this easy because like I thought you would know this.
But I can't get South Carolina out of my head. I can't think of another school right now. And I know it's not South Carolina.
Were you like doing like a countdown until you get it? This makes me feel so much better that you're.
They're a Big 12 school, right?
Yes. No, wait, no. I don't. Wait, no, they're not. They're not a Big 12 school. SEC.
Texas A&M.
Yeah, Texas A&M.
Okay,
I just had my blank.
I couldn't get South Carolina out of my head. I just kept saying South Carolina. I'm like, that's Jadavian Clowney, you stupid.
I'm upset that you got it.
I was gonna eventually. I just had to get South Carolina out of my head. All right, good.
All right, am I naming all my players, or are we going back and forth?
No. Well, all right, yeah, we'll go back and forth. All right.
Oh God, I'm so nervous.
Travis Kelce.
Travis Kelce. Why do I not know anything about Travis Kelce? Can I get a hint?
Yes. Part of the old Big East, but now is a part of the American Conference.
Old Big East of American Conference. Louisville.
No, but close with the colors. Cincinnati.
Oh yeah, it is Cincinnati. Yeah, I'm gonna get all these wrong. I'm so bad at this
No, you
shit.
won't. No, you won't. No, you
I'm
won't.
so bad at this shit. Ready? Number 2 for you.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard. That's what I didn't know what it was. T.Y. Hilton.
Oh, dude, there's no shot. I know this one. I don't know T.Y.
This honestly should have been my hard one. You want me to switch it?
No, well, I already got mine. Give me a hint.
Okay. COVID cases.
COVID cases.
The state's full of them.
So it was Florida.
Yes. But it's not your typical Florida.
No, it's not a typical Florida school. It's not a Florida. It's not
a big
State.
Florida school.
Yeah, no. It's probably like one of those like FAU.
It's FAU, Florida International. Yeah,
no, Florida International, Florida Atlantic.
Oh, Florida International.
FAU.
No, International.
FIU.
FIU.
So I'm wrong. It was one of those.
I died. All right, give me one. Come on, I'm with the 0-2. Give me one.
Miles Sanders.
Oh, Penn State.
There you go.
Easy money. Me. Fuck Penn State though. Fuck the Eagles. All right, last one. You might know this. Should be kind of easy. C.J. Mosley from the Ravens.
He's on the Jets now, which is
really shit. Shit.
Which is really embarrassing. But he went to Alabama.
Yes. That's embarrassing by me. Shit.
That's why I said that's embarrassing. You're like the Ravens. I'm like, well, he's on the Jets now.
Well, he was good on the Ravens.
And you picked the Jets player. He's good now. Still, he just was hurt and opted out last year.
I have CTE.
You're like, he's from the Ravens.
He is. The picture when he popped up, he was in the Ravens uniform. All right, continue. Go ahead.
Zach Martin.
I should know this, bro. Wisconsin.
No, Notre Dame.
Fuck, I knew that.
I gave you a Cowboy. Only because you gave me the Jets. I was here, bonus one for you. I was gonna give you this other Cowboy, which I think you might get, Dalton Schultz.
I fucking no idea where Dalton Schultz is from.
Stanford. All right, let me get Devontae Adams.
Devontae, I don't know college.
Think of our conversation before, who I asked you when we were talking about this conversation coming up. The same school.
The same school.
As the person I asked you in the text message to convince you to do this segment to avoid the exact situation we're going through right. No, Fresno State.
The first one you gave was Dak Prescott.
No, Derek Carr. You knew Dak Prescott. All right, whatever. We'll be back next week with
Devontae Adams with some fucking Fresno State. Bro, we're not doing this segment ever again.
Why not? We should get next week. We should get
unless I study every player, I'm not
start studying. Right. Give me one more player. Give me a player and random in your head. Let's see if I can get it to end the segment.
Random
player in your head. Let's see if I can get it.
Chris Boswell. No, let me give you. I'll be more.
It's Boswell. If you're gonna.
No, it's Bosch. It's Boswell. No, let me think. I'll give you like a position player. Hey, Mom, I'm on a podcast. Mom, Dana. Michael Pittman Jr.
USC.
You're a dweeb.
Oh no, it's USC was Sam Darnold's like favorite target. So
whatever. Of course you knew.
All right. Anyway. All right. Okay. ZMT Fantasy coming back next.
ZMT Fantasy back. Tom Leone, week 1, 1-0 by a hair. A lot of unexpected things happened last week. For our picks. Ryan Teague looked like shit. Raheem Mostert got hurt. Josh Jacobs went from not being able to play because of sickness and a turf toe, and then he put up 17 points.
Just scoring 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I don't understand. Jarvis Landry scored 17 points. What the fuck's going on this year?
All right.
Odell Beckham was hurt. But
Odell was hurt. Yeah, I was just about to say that.
But 1-0 on the year, 71-14 to 60-82. It was, we're 1-0. It was very close. We're 1-0 though.
Let's blow it out this week too.
We gotta blow out this week. So Tom, first, give me your 2 starts for the week.
Awesome. I'm going to Jacksonville, and I am starting Cortland Sutton against the Jags for the Denver Broncos. He got locked down by James Bradbury last week.
Love it.
one of the best corners in the NFL, only scored, I think, 4 fantasy points. But do not panic, people. Keep him in your flex. Keep him as your wide receiver 2 or even wide receiver 1 if you went running back early. Keep him in there because he's going to go off against the Jags. They don't have somebody who can cover as talented as a receiver as Courtland Sutton. And Jared Judy's out, so there's just more incentive for Courtland Sutton to get more of the target share. Jacksonville can actually kind of stop the run a little bit. So expect if Tyrod Taylor can tear up Jacksonville's defense, so can Teddy Bridgewater, and so can Courtland Sutton. So start Courtland Sutton. My second start of the week is one of my sits from last week, I think, or maybe I switched it up, but Big Ben. Start Ben Roethlisberger this week. He's going to have a bounce back, I believe.
I love it.
I'm having a mind blank right now on the team that they're playing. I want to say the Steelers play the Raiders, but let me double check before I say that.
They are playing the Raiders. Yes.
Okay, so they are. Yeah, at home they're 6.5-point favorites. They're going to throw the ball a lot. They're going to run the ball more effectively than they did against Buffalo, which is going to set up play action, more favorable passing downs for Big Ben. There's going to be big plays in there. He's going to tear it up. Expect 300 plus yards, 2-3 touchdown passes. That's what's going to happen against Las Vegas, especially because the Raiders will be able to put up points, even though Pittsburgh has a great defense. It'll be a mid to high scoring game. So start Big Ben. Just to recap, my 2 starts, Courtland Sutton versus the Jags and Big Ben against the Raiders.
Boom.
Mikey D, give me your 2 starts.
I love him. I'm going to go with this pick because I am a homer. I am a casual, and I just love this guy. Matthew Stafford at the Colts. I love this guy. He showed off on Sunday Night Football against the Bears, dude. And, a lot of people was hesitant to take Matthew Stafford because you don't know how he's going to be on a new team. He is kind of an older quarterback. My God, did this guy look special. And, the Colts, this Colts defense looked vulnerable. They looked vulnerable last week against Seattle, and Seattle's known for that passing game. And that's what they did with DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. They tore the Colts apart a little bit. I can see Matthew Stafford doing it with Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods again. This guy was, 8 for 8, 155 yards of play action passes. I could just see them going after this Colts defense and doing it again. So my first start, I'm going Matthew Stafford at the Colts. And my second start, this guy is kind of a sleeper. He proved that he is still legit in this league because he did against the Cowboys. So I'm just going to be a homer. Antonio Brown against the Falcons. This Falcons defense made Jalen Hurts, Jalen Reagor, and Devontae Smith, who's a rookie, look fantastic this past week. AB is the third best receiver technically on the Bucs right now, and they utilize him amazingly. And I don't know anybody on this Falcons defense, and clearly they are not that good if they're making this Eagles offense look that good. So I think he's gonna have another big week, and this guy was probably on the bench for a lot of people last week. This week, don't do it. Against this Falcons team, he's going to put up a lot of points again. So I'm gonna go Matt Stafford against the Colts, and I'm gonna go Antonio Brown against the Falcons.
I like it. All right, for my sits of week 2 fantasy, give me Henry Ruggs against the Steelers. The Steelers don't give up big plays. If you're going to score against the Steelers, you got to march down the field. They do not give big plays. If Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, and all them can't get a big play and find a big play, Derek Carr and Henry Ruggs aren't. Expect Darren Waller to get a lot of the targets again. Expect Bryan Edwards, more physical, tough catch, say Jones, bigger guys. Expect the bigger guys, the strong guys to be playing and getting the target share. Henry Ruggs is a little soft. He gets pushed off the ball. That's not going to work, and it's not going to cut in Pittsburgh, especially west to east after that crazy Monday night overtime, short week. Just sit Henry Ruggs. Don't let the usage towards the end of the game and the long throws, Derek Carr targeted him like 5-6 times, only connected twice. Don't let that play into your mind. Just put him on your bench, especially against this defense. My second sit might be a surprise because I feel like a lot of people didn't have him in their starting lineup last week and now want to start him this week playing because of how he did. Sit Christian Kirk. You can't, sure. If you didn't start him week 1, you can't start him week 2 just because he went off last week, because week 1 sometimes is a mirage, and the Cardinals aren't going to put up that offensive production again. And if they do, I'm sorry, and I'll be wrong, but expect DeAndre Hopkins to still have his big target share. AJ Green will have a bigger game. They're going to get the running backs more involved. They're going to run it more. James Conner, Chase Edmonds. Christian Kirk is not going to put up the crazy production I think he put like almost 30 fantasy points last week. It's not going to happen. I know he could be a fantasy breakout, but he's not going to give that production again. He might have 8 to 12 points this week, but if you're going to start him over a guy like Antonio Brown or over a guy like Cortland Sutton, or don't do it. It's not smart. Sit Christian Kirk. I think he's going to come back to reality this week. And if he doesn't, then it becomes a serious conversation of being a consistent starter week 3 and on. But this week, sit Christian Kirk. I think the Cardinals are playing. I didn't look at who they're playing. I just knew this guy because I didn't think he'd be able to match the production no matter who they're playing. But I believe they're playing the Vikings. The Vikings kind of suck. But still sit them because I think DeAndre Hopkins and the rest of the guys will have a bigger game.
I like them.
But yeah, Henry Ruggs and Christian Kirk are my 2 sits for week 2.
I like them. I'm going to go back to the Super Bowl, reigning champions, and just praise that defense. I'm picking a lot of players from this Atlanta Falcons game and Tampa Bay Buccaneers game because, this could really make or break your fantasy squad this week, especially this game. I am going to sit Mike Davis first. Mike Davis, against this Tampa Bay defensive front is all you got to know. That's honestly for this pick. That's all you really need to realize and look at. He had 18 touches last week against the Eagles, and he still wasn't even that productive. Clearly, this offense didn't even get into the end zone against the Eagles. I don't really see them getting into the end zone against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers either. So I'm going to play it safe. Keep Mike Davis off your team this week. Pick somebody else off the waiver. Against this D front, I don't see him doing much at all. So it's Mike Davis against the Bucs, and then I'm going to go Mike Gesicki against the. Oh my God, I just choked against the Bills.
The Jersey boy.
Yeah, big flat donut last week. So I
don't think it's going to get better.
I don't think it's going to get better at all. Another thing about the Bills last week was against Eric Ebron. He only had 1 catch. So I guess they are doing really good at covering, the tight ends. So I don't think Mike Gesicki is going to do much better this week either. So I got Mike Gesicki against the Bills sitting, and then Mike Davis against the Bucs sitting too.
Awesome. I love it. All right, cool. So we'll come back with ZMT Bets.
The best segment of them all.
My favorite one.
Yes, sir. We'll be back.
Sir. ZMT Bets back.
Here we go.
2. Here we go. The background music is back. I love it. Milk money, cash money. Give me your 3 picks against the spread and 1 prop bet.
Here we go. Texans. Houston Texans off to Cleveland, going to Ohio. They are going to cover. This is a shitload of points. Texas plus 12.5 against the Browns. I do not see them getting blown out that bad. That is my first pick. Second pick, Cardinals minus 3.5 against the Vikings. It is homecoming for Arizona after their big win against Tennessee last week. They are going to blow the brakes off the Vikings. 3.5 is kind. Take that pick. Packers minus 10.5 against the Lions. Aaron Rodgers is a bad man. I don't care if he put up 3 points last week, 1 point in fantasy. He's got something to prove, and you know how this guy is when he faces adversity. He comes back stronger than ever. Packers minus 10.5 against the Lions in Green Bay. So I'm going to run it back again. Texas plus 12.5 against the Browns. Cardinals minus 3.5 against the Vikings. And then Packers minus 10.5 against the Lions. And my prop bet for the week, Mike Williams, take it. If he is against Anthony Brown, you smash this over 56.5 yards. And Mike Williams is going to have himself a day. Go ahead, Tom.
I like the Monday night pick. Low-key Monday night pick. All right, let's get it. TL Smooth, week 2, 3-0 against the spread in week 1. I'm coming at it for 3 more this week. I'm heading to the Meadowlands, and I'm taking the plus 6 versus the Pats. Fuck Mac Jones, fuck Bill Belichick. They're going to cover the spread. Great, bad teams lose, great teams cover. Remember that, always. My second pick, I'm going to Miami. I'm taking the Bills. The Bills, that 1 o'clock game in Miami is hard, right? But they lost to the Steelers last week. Hard-nosed game. They're going to go into Miami. Miami offense looks like shit. Bills are going to dominate. Give me Josh Allen. Give me Sean McDermott. Give me Stephon Diggs. Bills minus 3.5 in Los Miami. Okay, into Carolina now. I'm taking a 45-minute flight from Miami, and I'm going to Carolina. And my boy Sam Darnold and my boy Robbie Anderson killing the Jets last week, blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry, Sammy. I can't take you this week against famous Jameis Eaton. W's over there. Give me the Saints minus 3.5. Jameis Winston's going to carve up that Carolina defense. That the Saints defense underrated, going to shut down Sam Darnold. I just hope he doesn't turn the ball over because that'll make him look bad and make me look stupid. But anyway, I'm taking the Saints minus 3.5. So my 3 spread picks for week 2 are the Jets plus 6 against New England, the Bills minus 3.5 against Miami, and the Saints minus 3.5 against Carolina. My prop bet for the week is Jameis Winston over 2 touchdowns.
Boom. I love it. I love it. The music is dwindling down. If it's still there, we might as well go over the picks real quick from last week. Tom, which started off 3-1, 3-0 and spread, and 0-1 in the prop and milk money. 0-4, 0-3 in spreads, and 0-1 in my prop bet last week. But listen, that's why it's week one. You can't predict week one. Clearly you can. I got my work cut out for me. I need to go back to the drawing board. I really like these picks this week. And
hey, listen, it's hard to predict week one, but week two is just as hard, because are the teams that performed in week one for real, or the teams that didn't? You don't know, right?
Well, the Texans perform, they better do well. The Cardinals perform, they better do well. And the Packers, they didn't perform. And
That's what I'm saying.
Going with them.
You're fading week one in at least one of the games, which should bode well for you. As am I.
Looking like a 1-3 week, baby. But Tom, it's always a pleasure.
Always.
Happy 1 year.
Can't
like
believe
I said,
week two is in the books.
I'll kiss you later.
Yes.
Definitely a good episode and everything like that. And everyone, listening at home.
Yep. Good luck to the Giants tonight. I just want to say that. Good luck to the Giants tonight. Hopefully the episode's up by tonight. Mike has them losing. I have them winning. Thank you later.
We might even put up a little.
Let's tweet out a prop bet tonight.
As I say, we should do that, because just what we did last year. We'll probably do that.
We'll tweet out.
We owe it to the fans, because we didn't give out that free bet last week. We didn't have time.
Yeah.
We'll definitely do that this week. But everyone listening at home, same thing. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, sports_ZMT. Follow us on TikTok and on YouTube as well. Tom, like I said, it's always a pleasure. Happy 1 year to you, baby. Mwah.
Yes, sir. Happy 1 year.
ZMT Sports. We will be back at it next week for our week 3 analysis. I'll talk to you later, Tom.
Yes, sir.